Hello everybody, my name is Alan Berman. I am the owner of a company called Archetype Design Studios. We're sort of a clearinghouse for architects, designers, interior designers, and contractors. And today we're going to take you around my apartment today to answer some of the questions that you've given me for this audition. I first got interested in design as a kid. I remember when I was 3 or 4 years old, whether it was at the beach or in front of the townhouse that my parents and I lived, but I would rearrange the folding beach chairs and rearrange tables and rearrange everything, and I would always constantly in my own room be rearranging furniture, painting furniture, fixing things. So that's what led me to go to architecture school, and so I always knew that this would be the field I'd go into. I have no one particular style. I would say that my business itself caters generally to apartment renovations. We can go as small as a bathroom or as large as a 10, 12 room penthouse. We're going to show you a little bit here of my place, a little bit about my design style. I do believe that when one restores an apartment, let's say here in New York City, and you live in an old apartment like mine, which was built in the 1920s, I believe if you're going to live in an old building, restore the bones. Like I did here, I restored the wainscoting in the dining room. I restored all the picture frame molding, the picture hanging molding, some of the medallions, some of the beams, some of the cornices. I also tore down a wall here because I felt the apartment was boxy, and today in living situations, in order to really update the space, I took down this wall with some French doors and I put these faux columns in it. It looks very much the period, and now we have a great room which is 35 feet long, makes the apartment feel a lot bigger. Some of the things that have made me most proud, I'd say some of the larger projects, of course, that I've been published several times. I did a 6,000 square foot apartment in Sutton Place a year or two ago. Very eclectic style. You'll see some of that in the package that I've given you today. Very good mixture of 80s, 90s, 50s, modern, antiques, art from all over the world. And again, to show you my place, we have Victorian, mixture of Victorian. We have English Art Nouveau, mixture of piece. We have a dining room set that I found in New Orleans, but I think was made in France. Another very interesting piece that I just added to the array here was this suit of armor. Now again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun. This is not a real suit of armor. This is a stage set prop. I bought it on the street several weeks ago for $60. Now, I love it. Some people walk in and say, that is gross. And some people walk in here and saying, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, you can have fun. Client relationship, that's really the most important thing. No matter what your price is, you're not going to be that much different than other architects or designers that they meet, and the products that you buy are not going to be that much different. What's really important is that the client trusts you. It's the biggest thing. A client has to trust that you're either going to give them ideas of things because they have no knowledge of design or architecture, or you're going to take their ideas and make them the best they can be. So again, we have another room here in my house. The bones are pre-war or old, but the furniture is 60s, mid-century. I got this whole bedroom set in a store in Harlem about 5 or 6 years ago. So the first thing is trust. They have to trust you. 2, they have to believe that you can bring their dream to fruition or show them what their dream could be. Don't have an ego. Don't make it seem like you know everything. Make it seem like you're there to help them. You're there to make what they want the best it can be. How do we approach anything is really, again, the first meeting with the client. I always suggest that we hold the first meeting at their house or their apartment. Walk through, look at the things that they've collected, find out if this is junk left over from high school and college, or find out if, hey, this is their style. And start suggesting ways immediately that you could improve or you could change. We're going to show you another room. This is my den, or my third bedroom, and this is my dog who wanted to be a part of this interview. That's Manny. Say hi, Manny. Hello. So the most important thing with client is trust, that you're going to help them bring their ideas to fruition. And they have to trust that you're going to hire the right contractors, that you're going to lead the team, that you're going to oversee the installation of everything, the purchase of everything, and that you have their wallet in mind. You know, you don't go in trying to spend as much. You try to work with the client's budget. Okay, so we're going to talk about my design team and who they are and who's involved with really every step of what we do. But in the meantime, let's walk back towards the living room. And I, in my own office, have 3 architects/designers in training that work in the upstairs area. And it's very important that you have people that you trust that are drawing what you're suggesting they draw or interpreting what the client is telling you that they want. So that's the first piece of very important part of the combination. Second part, we're going to stop for a second. This is my kitchen. This is a pretty modern kitchen. These are actually real steel case products made for real restaurant kitchens. Countertops are concrete. We do have our Wolf stove, colored the same as the cabinets. So first of all is your draftsmen and your architects, your designers in training. Then after that, what's really important is your interior design department. I have a gentleman named John Kristovich who runs my interior design department. These are the people that sit with us upstairs, the drafting architect group. And so it's really a combination of my 3 interior designers downstairs and my 3 designer architects in training upstairs that bring everything together. And there's a team of us on every project. We're married to the client for really a good 6 to 9 months, especially in New York where there's so many approvals that you need from your co-op or your condo and the building department actually before you can even start building. Most important, really final group of people that you really need to depend upon are the contractors. You know, you hear all those nightmare stories about contractors, can you trust them? But again, that's where the trust comes with the client, because I'll tell a client actually before they hire one, hey, I think since the month or two since this contractor bid this job, that they're going out of business or something's going shaky with them on my other projects. So you know what, let's reinvestigate, let's go back to some of these other contractors that we met. And some people will stick with the first one that they met because they're the cheapest. Wrong move. Never hire a contractor because they're the cheapest. I say what I think. Most people love it. Most people appreciate that I'm honest and I give them my true feelings about what I think. I think I'm an artist. You know, an artist is an architect, an artist is a designer. An artist looks in the 4th dimension. You know, artists are actors, artists are performers, artists are musicians. That's what led me to this. That's why I love designing. It's a form of expressing myself. I like playing with different styles, interpreting people's wishes and dreams, and really in the end, the reward to that is when someone comes into their finished apartment or home and they say, I love this. I live on the ground floor of an apartment in New York City, and in New York City they call that a maisonette. A lot of these ground floor apartments used to be doctors' offices. So this is the front entrance to my apartment. And I think that this is actually a waiting room for a doctor's office, and my front bedroom, because we have a very strange layout to this apartment, was probably the doctor's office. My dog is a lot to my personal life. They say people in New York who are busy and work too much turn their dogs into children, and I have to say I'm kind of guilty of that. Other than that, I really love traveling. I try at least twice a year to get somewhere around the world. This past summer, I went to Russia, to Moscow and St. Petersburg, and then Paris on the way home. I love looking at cities. I love looking at the architecture and the people. And again, it's all about the history. Whether it's an old building, you know, that's telling a story of how it came to be, or whether it's a new building in this modern architect's vision of how this fits into the city. So yes, my spare time is spent traveling, going to the theater. I'm an artist again, and performer. Going out to the movies, going out to nice dinners. And again, for New York, I have a pretty big apartment. So they say the bigger your apartment is in New York, the more people that are going to come visit you. I wouldn't say I have one aesthetic. It's more that if you take me into a certain idea or style, that I want to make it the best it can be. Now, what offends me, and I'm going to mention a name here, I've gone into so many modern buildings and apartments and homes where it's a modern house, but then they have like crown moldings and decorations from the 1800s. The most famous person who I think is at fault in the way that he's designed his apartment is Donald Trump. He lives in Trump Towers, okay? little glitzy for me, but it's a modern, expensive building. Now, if I'm in a modern, expensive building, I'm going to design a modern apartment that expresses what this architecture is. And sure, I'm going to throw in some antiques. I'm going to throw in things that maybe I've collected or the client has collected around the world. But what Donald Trump has done is he's basically gilded his apartment. You walk in between the mirrors and the gilding and the gold and the Louis XIV furniture. He's transposed what's a modern building into looking like it's a French chateau with 8-foot ceilings. That drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. It's just incongruous. It's ostentatious. Why am I suited for this? Well, as I mentioned earlier, because I'm an artist, besides being a designer, an architect, whatever, facilitator, I've also had some career as an actor. I lived in Los Angeles and Hollywood for 8.5 years. And I was actually on a bunch of television shows, and I did a lot of commercials, episodic, big TV shows that you probably have never heard of. On one of them I played Drew Barrymore's boss. I remember when HGTV first went on the air, and I said, I'm going to be doing that one day. Because it's both forms of expression for me. I get to design, I get to fix things, I get to express, and I get to be in front of the camera. Maybe I'm a ham, maybe I just want to show what I can do. But I am an actor at heart as well, and I am a performer. So, biggest question is, how do you expedite these projects? How do you go fast? Well, it's all about the planning. You have to plan everything ahead of time. You have to plan what you're going to design, what you're going to draw, what you're going to order, when's it coming in, when is it shipping, when are you installing it. You have to have all your team there to do this. You have to be able to, like I'm doing right now, you have to run around the apartment. You have to have the lighting guy working in the electric. You have to have the plumbing guy in the kitchen. You have to have the millwork guy putting up your columns or your wainscoting. You have to have your designers on site. You have to have your architects on site. And you have to have your contractor. Again, it's the contractor on time, on schedule, showing up. Now, in a show like this, you have to have resources, okay? You have to have contractors that are going to work 24/7 for 2 or 3 days and probably not sleep very much. I have those. My team, New York Artistic, here in New York, is actually good to go. I have people in my team in my office that would love to be part of this show. And you just have to organize, plan, get what the people want right away, and really get your team going. Don't let them stop, and really understand each faction or each part of what you're doing and know how to guide the people to do it and get it done. Well, it's funny, when you love what you're doing, it's not stressful. It's an adventure. Even if I'm staying up and drinking coffee all night, it's not a problem managing the stress. Sure, people are going to come to me with problems and say, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? And we'll find a way, or we'll substitute something, or we'll get a different piece of furniture. But it's about problem solving, it's about doing it right away, and it's about knowing the local resources, knowing where to get those things fast, knowing where to get the pre-cut lumber, knowing where to get furniture that you're refinishing, knowing where warehouses, suppliers are. It's not stressful to me, and you have to be the calming spirit to everybody, because the more calm you are, the more in control you are, and the more you show that you're having fun, people are going to have fun with you. I know I talk fast. I like to talk fast. My clients like that. Sometimes I tell a lot of bad jokes, and I warn people. I say, if you're going to hire me, you got to be used to bad jokes. But this is my world: designing, architecture, furniture, people, clients, contractors, and I love it. And I'd love the opportunity to work on the show with you folks. I think it would be great. Anyway, I'm Alan Berman. My firm is Archetype LLC, or Archetype Design Studio. You can look us up on the web at www.archetype-ny.com. And this has been a lot of fun auditioning, so hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.